So we've lost the glorious weather we had the other day, and I'm back to wearing coats. British weather for you, so unpredictable. Oh my goodness. Anyways, guys, today is going to be a tomato planting. Should I call it a masterclass or a tutorial? Let me downgrade it and call it a tutorial. So it's going to be a tutorial, the whole process, okay, the whole process from start to finish. You must have seen my videos about tomato planting, but oftentimes I talk about how to start it from seed and get it outside, but I don't tell you about all the other things that happen in between from planting it to harvesting it. So that's what we'll be talking about in today's video, so come along. So the first step in growing your tomatoes is actually starting from seeds. Yeah, so you can get your seeds off tomato packs that you find in the shop like this one, or you can get it straight from the tomato fruit itself. And people do this in so many different ways, but I have done a video where you take slices of this and start it off, or even faster, you can get the seeds out, like get the seeds, scoop the seeds out, and sprout that using the Ziploc bag method. Yeah, Ziploc bag and paper towel in a very humid condition. Yeah, I think I've done a video on sprouting peppers, and that applies to tomatoes as well. So that's what you need. The seed, that's the first ingredient you need. So you can either get it from the shop, and there are so many different varieties of tomatoes in the shop. This is I think this is a giant one, yeah, and this is a much smaller one. So you have to know what variety you want, and there's cherry tomatoes, there's plum tomatoes, there's lots of different ones in the shop that are labeled, so you can see them, you know, and then you can start them from seeds, or you can buy them from the shop and start them from seeds at home by yourself. So that's the first step. Now for you to be able to germinate this, I've told you about paper towel and Ziploc bag, or you can just throw it into the bed if the condition is all right. Now tomatoes need humidity and sunlight during the day and dark during the night and warm temperature to germinate. So if you don't have those conditions right, it will not germinate if you throw it into the bed. So most of the time we create those conditions indoor. I think if you have like a windowsill where you get lots of sunshine and you can make the temperature in your room warm enough for it, then definitely you can start it off indoors, and then when it's up to 10 to 15 centimeters, you can bring it outside when the conditions are favorable. When it's warm enough, you can bring it outside and then plant it directly into your garden. Yeah, so that's what you need to do for the beginning phase. It needs if you're starting it indoors, you want to have one of those small pots, and you need some compost or sand. People make mixtures. I can show you in a different video how you can make a mixture of a good compost that can be good for germinating seeds. You need a little bit of vermiculite, perlite, any of things that can make the soil a little bit light, so that the roots can go in easily. Because when the seed is germinating, a couple of things are happening. It's sprouting and sending roots down, and you want the soil to be loose for that process to be much easier, to happen much more easily. So yes, that's the first stage of planting your tomatoes. Now the next stage is called potting on. Yeah, that's if you're starting it from indoors. Yeah, the potting on stage. Some people say transplanting. Tomatoes love this process of taking it from one soil where it's packed with a lot of, where it has finished the nutrients, and into a fresh new soil where the nutrients is just, you know, so that it will just start to grow quickly again. So potting on is maybe if you have like you spread all the seeds inside one pot, then when they germinated and they're up to about maybe 5 to 10 centimeters, you can either thin them out. Thinning out is another process that encourages them to do better, to grow better. So you can either thin them out by cutting off the ones you don't want, or you can split the tomatoes to individual pots. You can put them on into individual pots. So potting on is and tomatoes loves that process a lot. Yeah, where you take it and give it its own individual space, yeah, and put some more nutrients for it, and then in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time you will see it. Yeah, yeah, so that's the potting on stage. And then the next stage would be it's either you put it in a very big pot then and give it plenty of space, or you sow it into your garden bed. So that's the next stage. So I'm going to take you around and show you a couple of ways I have done this next stage, which is transplanting it into its home, where it's going to be now for life, for the rest of its life, until it finishes fruiting and the winter and frost comes and takes it off. So I have some of them in buckets, in containers. I've direct sown some of them. So let's go and have a look at what I've done in my garden. So here they are. I have direct sown these ones in my garden bed, and they're doing fine in here. I've direct sown them. So I started them off in the bed when they were about 10 centimeters, 10 15. I mean, that's small. So now you can see in these ones I have them in bags. I have them in little grow bags. And they're doing just fine as well. And here I've got them in buckets, so different containers. I've used different containers, but I've also planted them in the bed. So I've got cherry tomatoes in this one, so I want to leave it in this hanging basket, and I'm going to put some I'm going to wedge it up with some bamboo sticks, so that the cherry tomatoes can fall down from the basket or trail down the basket. That's the reason I put them in the hanging basket. It's looking quite big in that basket, so it will need a lot of feeding, which I've tried to keep on top of. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep updating you, so make sure that you have me subscribe to me and you have me on the bell, and you're following my community tab. I will be featuring these plants from time to time on my community tab. Now the next stage of your tomato planting process would be staking them up. Tomatoes are like vines, so they need something to twirl themselves around and climb upright. So you want to give them that support, and I use bamboo sticks to create a nice supporting system for my tomato plants. And you can do this same technique on your tomato that is on the bed, on your vegetable bed. You can use that same technique to stake up your tomatoes. Now it's very easy. You don't have to make it complicated. You don't have to be a gardening expert to do this. All you need, and this should have been done even before the tomatoes got into that bucket. Even before the tomatoes got into that well-drained bucket, it should have been done. But I'm going to show you now how to do it. So I've got 3 there. I've got 3 plants in that bucket. Okay. Now you can just put that one by the one plant, and put that one by the other plant, and put this one by the last plant. And you can bring them together and use the gardener's twine to tie it at the top. And then you can whenever your tomato starts to need support, if it's going to get windy or anything, of course you can leave it like that in the bucket. You can leave it like that and just allow the tomatoes to grow up to the point where you can then tie it around this, or you can tie it together, to make like a tippy kind of shape at the top there, and maybe use your gardener's twine. I like to do that method. Use your gardener's twine to make a knot at the top of it. So that's what I'm going to do now. Watch me. You want to double that up. You tie it together. Okay, so that's done. Nothing fancy, just that will be fine. And when the tomato starts growing up, because it's going to grow, some of them grow as high as they grow really tall. So when it starts growing, then you can use some more twine or zip tie to just tie it close to the stick so that the stick supports it. Yeah, because the fruits will come, and when the fruits come, it will be they will be very heavy, and they need they need something to hold them together. They need a support system. So you should have done this basic. You should have done this really when you put the seedling in, so that you don't disturb the roots. But it's fine. Tomatoes is not too fussy about root disturbance. Now also, if you're going to use a bucket, make sure that your bucket is well drained. You can see mine, there's one slope right there, but you can see mine is looking well drained. Yeah, I put some holes all around it and on the bottom as well. So make sure that you have a well drained container to put it in. The next stage would be I don't think this is a stage necessarily. I think maybe it's a thing that you have to do, taking off some of the leaves that are unnecessary, taking energy from it, making when it's getting close to flowering and making fruits, you have to make sure that it's not producing sending its energy into making leaves. So you take down the leaves so that it sends its energy into fruiting, into flowering and fruiting, rather than making nice big leaves. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. And the other thing that you need to do is you need to know how to do is feeding it. Okay, and you do not have to use these. I mean, these are like factory made ones, but you can make your own plant food yourself. And I think I'm going to do, because quite a few of you have asked about how to make compost, how to use them organic. These are organic anyway, but how to make your own at home. You can make your own from your food waste at home, and maybe dry leaves and stuff like that that hang around your backyard that you pay nothing for. But if you're going to be using this is, I think it's as that version of Tomorite, and that contains potash, which tomato really likes, and any of these ones to encourage it to flower and make tomatoes for you to grow quickly. Yeah, so you need to keep on top of that. Once every 2 weeks would be all right. In some conditions you may not even need it, honestly speaking. Last year I think I remember only doing it once or twice, like in between when I brought them outside and when I harvested the tomatoes. Yeah, so but you have to remember to do this every now and again. Once in 3 weeks, once in 2 weeks is all right. Yeah, and these are concentrated solutions, so you have to dilute them, and they have the instructions. You have to read them and see which one you're getting for your tomatoes, and then apply that one. Yeah, so that's the other stage. Let me show you how to ensure that your tomatoes is not spending its energy making leaves. Yeah, let's have a look at how to do that. If you look at this one right here, you will see that it's already making flowers. Yeah, so this is ready to go now. This is waiting to start making tomato fruits, but it's got these big leaves. Yeah, so what you want to do is take down at this, you want to leave maybe just the first 4 leaves. Yeah, apart from the head there, maybe 1, 2, 3 would be all right. Anything else you have to take them down. Okay, so I've taken down some of the leaves. You can see how massive those leaves are. You don't want to grow leaves, you want to grow tomatoes. So you want to make sure that your tomatoes is coming along and not sending its energy into making leaves. Look at my amaranth. I was going to show you. It's going to seed very soon. I think I'm going to snip that off so that it can branch off and make more leaves, because I want the leaves on this one, not seeds. Now the rest of it is just keeping on top of feeding it, and yeah, and taking down those unnecessary leaves, and making sure that it's in the right sunny location. It likes a lot of sunshine, so making sure that it's in a nice sunny location. And I mean, yeah, that's basically it. And you just wait for it. In a couple of weeks time, you're going to have nice red fruits. You would harvest them, and don't forget to send me a picture of your of your harvest when you do so. Okay, I haven't been using my Instagram. I have to start to use it. I was so scared to go back to Instagram because I felt so overwhelmed. But anyways, guys, you can't be you can't be online without using these things these days. You can't completely run away from it. But if you have me on Instagram, you can send photos of your tomato plants when they start to fruit to me. Yeah, I would be very glad to receive that. And if you know any other ways that you can care for your tomato plants, or whether you're doing it differently in your own country where you are, because some of these techniques I'm talking about here may not apply to you depending on what part of the world you live in. When I was growing up in Nigeria, we didn't have to stake tomatoes or do all these things. Tomatoes just grew and we just plucked them, you know, and picked them in the backyard. So yeah, so it might be different where you are. You may want to pick up one or two of the ideas that I shared with you as well to improve yourself. Yeah, because that's what life is all about. You always have to evaluate what system you're using to see whether it's working, and if it's not, you have to keep on asking yourself, what can I do to improve the system that I'm using, yeah, to make it better, to make it more effective and efficient. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, not the masterclass. The masterclass will come later. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing from you. I hope you subscribed. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? We love a reaction also, so whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, we don't mind. Yeah, it's been nice sharing all that information with you. Let's know what you think. Thank you for watching. I shall see you in the next one. Bye. On our community tab, we do a feedback on all the lovely plants, both horticultural and vegetables that are in the backyards, in the diaspora gardens. So if you haven't yet subscribed, that's enough reason to subscribe, because if you're not subscribed, you won't be getting access to the community content. Also, we love to have a reaction from you. We'd love to hear from you. Engage in the community, engage in the discussions. And when you finish, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's important because it lets us know whether you liked the video or whether you didn't like the video. And also, it's good for the algorithm, so be a part of our success. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.